Alright, UFC Fight Night Ribas versus Namajunas takes place in the main event this weekend, and I'm going to be going through the entire main card, starting with the opener, ending with the main event, giving you guys my full breakdown and predictions. If you guys are wondering who I got for the early prelims, boom, this is who I got. And despite what some will say about this card, I actually don't think it's as bad compared to some, especially in the main event, but let's waste no further time and break down this Fight Night card. We move on to the opener of the main card. Fernando Padilla versus Luis Pajuelo. Interesting stylistic matchup we got here. We have a lanky, tall, rangy striker in Fernando Padilla taking on a short but very dangerous knockout artist in Luis Pajuelo. Now, it's a very tough fight to call here, but I am leaning towards Fernando Padilla to get the win here. Luis Pajuelo is very dangerous. He is a first-round fighter, but tends to fade as the fight goes on. And if Padilla can weather an early storm and impose his striking accuracy and his overall experience, can secure himself a victory over a less experienced and aggressive Luis Pajuelo. So Fernando Padilla is the pick and gets it done via close decision, 29-28. We move on to the next fight on the main card. Billy Quarantillo versus Youssef Zalal. Pretty fun scrap, but I am going to be leaning towards the underdog value of Youssef Zalal to get the win. Now, yes, he is taking this fight on very short notice, but I kind of see this fight as a stylistic nightmare for Billy Q. Quarantillo is a heavy pressure fighter that tries to bully his opponents up against the fence to secure takedowns, and against a counter striker with heavy power, I kind of see the opening chance for Zalal to find something big and land on the chin of Billy Q. So, yep, Youssef Zalal is the pick and gets it done via late rounds TKO. We move on to the next fight on the main card. Payton Talbot versus Saaiman. Very close fight. Very tough fight to call here. All through this week, I've just been pick flipping back and forth, but I think the winner of this matchup will be determined on who can dictate the pace, which, if that's the case, I am going to be leaning towards Saaiman to get the win. Now, Payton Talbot is a very good fighter and very good in his own respect, has an impressive background in college wrestling, and is an overall athlete. Now, Saaiman is no slouch. He is a very well-rounded fighter that has very fast hands, very dangerous low kicks in his arsenal, and trains at a very good gym in South Africa with the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis. Again, it's a very tough fight to call here, but I am going to be leaning towards Saaiman's experience, fight IQ, and overall skill set to get the win over Payton Talbot. So Saaiman is the pick and gets it done via close decision, possibly even split decision, 29-28. We move on to the feature fight of the main card, Edmen Shahbazyan versus AJ Dobson. Personally, I like this fight stylistically for Edmen Shahbazyan, and that's who I'm going to pick to get the win. Now, yes, Shahbazyan has showed a clear hole in his game, that being his cardio and his pacing, but looking back at his losses in his career, in hindsight, they're not so bad after all. Lost to Derek Brunson, not a bad loss. Lost to Jack Hermanson, not a bad loss. Lost to Nasruddin Imavov, not a bad loss. Now he has a win over an opponent, but just recently a loss to Alexander Hernandez, not a bad loss. Now, AJ Dobson, despite being a decent striker, lacks the stopping power to stop anybody, and I kind of believe Shahbazyan has the abilities on the feet to outstrike, pick apart, and find a finish over AJ Dobson. Undoubtedly has faced the better opponents than Dobson and has a better skill set than Dobson. So Edmen Shahbazyan is the pick and gets it done via second round TKO after a dominant first round. Moving on to the co-main event. Karl Williams versus Justin Tafa. Explosive fight in the heavyweight division. I think both guys are going to implement and establish their dominance early on, and I think that's where Justin Tafa can capitalize and find the finish on Williams. Now, Karl Williams is a really good wrestler with decent chain wrestling and will most likely try to take down Justin Tafa in this fight. However, I think Tafa is going to surprise a lot of people and show off his improved grappling defense and takedown defense. So I think he's going to stuff a lot of Williams' takedowns and secure himself a first or second round finish. So Justin Tafa is the pick and gets it done via first round or second round KO. We move on to the main event. Amanda Ribas versus Rose Namajunas. Confident pick here. I'm going to be going with Thug Rose to get the win. Now, yes, Rose is on a 2-fight skid right now where, granted, she could have arguably won those 2 fights, but last fight out, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Manon Fiorot, and before that, a very controversial split decision loss to Carla Esparza, and before that, 2 consecutive wins over the current strawweight champion, Zhang Weili. I highly rate that for Rose, and Amanda Ribas hasn't been looking all too impressive in her recent career. She's a bit of a falling knife, a bit 50-50, 3-2 her last 5, and really depends on finding the finish, which leaves her with some success and some failure. Overall, I just like this fight stylistically for Rose. I think she's just better than Ribas everywhere it goes. I think she's better than her on the feet. I think she's better than her on the ground. And the mental of Rose isn't really concerning now that she's moved up to flyweight. And I kind of like this career move for Rose. I like this move up to flyweight, and I think she gets the win over Amanda Ribas. So, Thug Rose is the pick and gets it done via late rounds finish. All in all, didn't do too hot on last week's card, despite getting some right where it counts. Overall, I went a total record of 6-6-1. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my socials, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!